Coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida, welcome to the Paperstac Podcast, where we cover current topics in the note industry, give you tactics for your note business, and talk with industry leaders to make you a better note investor. And now, your hosts, Brett Berkey and Rick Allen.
I am Brett, and this is Rick, and today we are doing another case study. So this should be fun.
Another case study today, or the same day, just recorded two.
Oh, I don't think people know that.
Oh, no.
They're secret. We just wear the same clothes. We're like
Same
Steve
clothes.
Jobs.
We have a Zuckerberg and Jobs.
Yeah, that's
we
right.
We actually have a studio that we come and get dressed in. So my wife's happy that we can just rotate. There's keep the same clothing. Anyways, yes, another case study today. Still the holidays though. It's still the holidays. We are a couple days closer to Christmas. So let's dive in there.
Okay, I don't even know what you're going to talk about, so it's all on you.
That's just a good co-host right there.
I know it's a case study. I just don't know.
It's case study. This one. Last time we talked about one that was really recent. Talked about seeing a diamond in the rough, kind of looking for multiple exits. This one has multiple exits, but this is more of a strategic structuring of an exit.
Yeah.
We purchased a loan in Groveland, Florida.
Okay.
Or was it Mascot? It was Mascot, Florida. You had to go through Groveland to get to Mascot, which is not far. Maybe it's an hour from here. And newer built house. And by newer, I mean, it was in the 2000s built. And we went and at the time drove by the house just to get an idea of what it looked like. The front door was kicked in. It was vacant.
So is this a note or is this
It's a note.
Okay.
But we went to view the house. We can secure the house if it's vacant.
Okay.
So we had somebody go in, look around, take pictures, was in pretty good shape, secured the house, and we're like, it's obviously either going to be a foreclosure or we're going to get them to sign it over because, you're not going to necessarily.
This is after you've already bought it?
After I bought the loan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you can go in there and do all that stuff.
Then it's okay. It's time to start a loss mitigation process. What are we going to do?
Yeah, because you don't know where the borrower's at.
Nope. And we tried reaching out to the borrower, sent letters, did a skip trace, kind of were hitting dead ends. We knew there was a second position.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, there was a second on it. It was one of those things where there's a second there, but the second was pretty small.
But you'd wipe out the second.
We would wipe out the second. We definitely would wipe out the second. We ended up getting in contact with the borrower.
How'd you do that?
They actually wound up responding to one of our phone calls.
Oh, really?
So our servicer reached out, finally got him on the phone. And I said, if you get him on the phone, see if they'll patch me in and I can start talking to him. So
really?
So I started talking to him and I said, look, we want to offer you a solution on the house. I was like, do you want to keep it? And he's like, no, my wife and I are divorced. We both don't want the house.
Wow.
So we'll sign it over. I was like, perfect. They both worked at Disney, but they're divorced. So it's like, now you're like juggling relationship.
Yeah.
Which it seems like they were bitter. He didn't have very nice things to say about her, and she didn't have very nice things to say about him.
That's bitter.
They were bitter. So that's tough sometimes. You're trying to get people to work together. And that's part of the loss mitt. You just gotta, as an asset manager, you gotta be ready to put on the hat and do what needs to be done.
Side note, that's a long drive for Disney.
From Mascot, it is a heck of a drive.
It's one heck of a drive.
That's probably why their marriage fell apart.
That's right, because no one was
They had
ever
to ride in the car with each other for an hour there and an hour back.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
That's a long drive.
It is. We ended up getting in contact with him, and we're talking to our attorney, and he's looking at it, and we're like, okay, there's a second position, and I think the second position was like $22,000.
Okay. What'd you get this one for? You said?
I don't know. I don't remember the numbers.
Yeah.
The numbers were just, if I was going to guess, we were probably paid like $60,000 or $65,000.
Gosh, but what was the value?
The value then, you're probably looking at $150,000.
Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe it was like $60,000. It was worth like $120,000
Gotcha.
or $130,000,
Okay.
somewhere in there with a second. But the balance on it was like the loan was for like $200,000 or $250,000. It was just one of those things where it was so upside down.
Yeah.
This was right when things got creamed. So you're talking 2012, 13, 14, somewhere in there. There's still quite a bit of blood in the streets. Values hadn't bounced back. Here's one of those things where you're just like, that wasn't uncommon, especially here in Central Florida.
Oh gosh, no.
To buy houses that were built in the early 2000s, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 even, and then have them foreclosed on and 12, 13 out there for just like pennies on the dollar. So we're like, okay, we need to structure this. If they will get them to, I want to get them to sign the house over so they've mentally checked out.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So they mentally check out. They, in their head, they've given it to us. But I also need them to realize that I might have to foreclose.
Yeah.
Because there's a second there. There's somebody who is blocking me. So what do I need to do? I need them to sign a deed in lieu.
Correct.
And a consent to foreclosure, a consent to judgment.
Explain that.
Are you new to the mortgage note industry? Have you been wanting to learn the step-by-step process to purchase your first mortgage note? Well, you're in luck. We've convinced our CEO, Rick Allen, to break down everything he knows about mortgage note investing. Through a series of 50 videos, you'll get everything from start to finish of where to purchase notes, how to purchase notes, and all of Rick's investing techniques he has developed over the many years. From performing note tactics to non-performing notes, Rick gives you everything he knows about investing. Bonuses include our glossary of industry terms, Rick's own proprietary calculators he created to evaluate notes, discounts from our partners, our Rolodex of vendors, a private Facebook group, along with a lot more. We've packed so much content into the Academy to take you from beginner to expert in no time. To learn more about the Academy, go to academy.paperstac.com/welcome. Again, that is academy.paperstac.com/welcome.
So a consent to judgment is they're basically saying, yes, this is how much we owe. We're not contesting the foreclosure. Go ahead and move through with it.
And go through with the foreclosure?
Yeah.
They were okay with that. They didn't want to do deed in lieu?
I said, look, yeah, they did, but I had to have them sign both.
Sign both.
A deed in lieu and a consent to judgment. Because along with getting them to sign the consent to judgment, the deed in lieu, I had them sign a permission slip, basically, something that allows me to reach out to the second position mortgage and negotiate and try to get it reduced or forgiven or paid or something.
Wow. Okay.
So you have to have all those things, because if you just get the consent to foreclosure or consent to judgment and the deed in lieu, like the whole purpose of doing both is so that you could turn around and go to the second and try to get them to negotiate. But they won't talk to you
if you don't have permission.
If you don't have the permission to negotiate on the account. We got all that taken care of, and we went to the second position.
Okay.
And started negotiating.
How'd that go?
Oh, they owed.
Was this a private investor who?
No, this is one of the debt collectors out there who's fairly well known.
Really?
And oh my gosh. First of all, the hoops that you had to jump through were just ridiculous. Nobody would call you back. So we back and forth with these people. They had to have, they're like, obviously, I need to see this form filled out. Here you go. It's filled out. And they go, okay, great. Give us 7 to 10 days to review it. Okay, you're approved to talk to them. All right. Started negotiating. They're like, okay, submit your offer in writing. So we're like, look, we'll give you $5,000. You're owed 22 plus a bunch of past dues. So they were probably owed like 50.
Yeah.
And they're like, or 40 or something like that. And they're like, no, we want 22,000. We want the full principal balance.
Jeez. How long have they been non-performing?
A long time.
A long time. Okay.
Yeah. So we've been back and forth with them, though. It took us 30 days of back and forth, and their process is just terrible. And I'm talking to them on the phone. I'm emailing them stuff and saying, look, I've got a deed in lieu of foreclosure that I'd like to use, but I can't do it because you're in my way.
Yeah.
I'll pay you $5,000 because I'm going to pay $5,000 to get this thing foreclosed. Probably less because of I've got a consent judgment.
Yeah. And if you foreclose or what?
Here's my consent to judgment. Do you? And they're like, no, we're not. I think they would rather take the write-off on it.
Really?
I was like, you guys are crazy. So we ended up going in there, trying to work with them. And like I said, we spun 30, 45 days and but what we did do is I was like, look, go ahead and just spend the money and file the foreclosure.
Who were you talking to about this?
My attorney.
Oh, okay.
So we said, file the foreclosure so we're not burning time. So we filed the foreclosure. I showed them we had foreclosure. They didn't want to settle. So that deed in lieu was essentially useless. It was just a piece of paper they signed. But we ended up going back, using the consent to judgment, getting the house back along the way. Along the way to foreclosure, we had forced place insurance. We got vandalized by kids in the neighborhood. And somebody in the neighborhood knew who did it. The neighbor, I know who did it. And they told us all 3 kids. And so we ended up having an insurance claim on that one that we filed for. They wrecked the house. They went in, holes in the wall.
Why? Just shitheads?
Because they're 12 years old and 13-year-old boys. That's just what they do, right? So it's frustrating for us. They threw bricks through the sliding glass door in the back.
That's never good.
No, it's to be expected. So constant big headache for us. Ripped some of the cabinet doors off, holes in the wall. They weren't professionals because they didn't take any of the copper. That's what I like to say. But so we wound up getting, I think, 14 to 17,000. They wrote the estimate, like the guy who did it, look, this is 25 grand in work. But then the forced place insurance depreciated our value, and then we ended up getting 17. But we ended up getting 2 of the 3 kids to pay 5 grand each.
Really?
Yeah. Of the parents, obviously not the kids.
Wow.
So that was a long.
They were grounded.
Oh, because I was like, I'm either gonna file. I did file a police report, but it was like, do you want to press charges or not?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ruin these kids' lives.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. They're gonna take a beating from this one.
Yeah, their parents are gonna be pissed.
Yeah. So, anyways, we ended up getting a house back. We had to remodel the whole thing. We ended up selling it and did well on it, but that was one of those things where, the whole looking at it from beginning to end, the whole setup. Oh, I forgot to mention I did see signs in there that they would sign a deed in lieu in the servicing notes, that they're interested in signing the house over.
This is before we bought it.
Before we bought it. So that was one of those things where I was like, okay, it's ready to go. It's here. Let's do this. But we were able to set up that exit and really it was setting up, once you had them wanting to get rid of the house, it was, how are we going to deal with the second position lien, who really has no position to stand on. They were like, I don't know what they were negotiating with. They must have been bluffing.
Well, you called their bluff.
Oh yeah, they got nothing.
Yeah, that was stupid.
That was stupid.
Huh.
But I since have negotiated with them on other things, and I've come to find out that's just their policy. So I was happy that.
What's their policy?
They're just going to try to recover as much as they can, and they're not really going to short sell with us. So I was like, fine.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It may work on some. Didn't work on this one. I tried to climb them. I was like, let me talk to your manager, because I thought I was making a great deal. I'm like, look, I'll give you 5 grand.
Yeah.
And they're like, no.
That sucks.
Okay, whatever. So that was a little bit of a shorter one, a lot shorter than the last one, but.
Was that a win, or is it a?
That was a big W for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we want to go through another one, I don't know if we've ever talked hardest hit fund.
We haven't, but let's keep going on this one, because I want to just break it down a little bit, and then we can do some more on the hardest hit fund. So tell me, you bought it, you got rid of the second, they got nothing. You got 17 for forced place insurance. You got 5 from each one, so 15.
No, I got 5 from 2 of the 3, so we got 27. Basically, it covered our repairs.
So it just covered repairs?
It covered repairs plus a little bit. I mean, it wasn't.
And then, so after repairs, that's after repair value, but just not whatever they screwed up, but the whole.
No, so we were paid 60-ish for it, so we were probably into it for 90, and I think we sold it for 130.
How long did it take
to sell it? Not long. Was
this in like a neighborhood? Is it?
Yeah, it was in a neighborhood. Yeah. So it was one of the cookie cutter neighborhoods where every house is like there's 2 models.
Yeah.
Enter from this side of the house or enter from this side of the house, and they just flipped it. It was just one of those neighborhoods.
Wow.
It was just to where a builder went in there and found like a 10-acre plot and just pressed out as many of these things as they could. Gave them damn near 0 lot line, stuff like that. So
I was talking to Charlie recently. He was telling me the whole process of how he does it. That's what he does.
Yeah.
He says he buys it and
adds water, adds power, grids it out, puts in some clay roads.
Yeah. And then, he does it. I was like, you got to teach me your system. He said, you got 2 minutes?
Yeah, you buy a piece of property and you figure out how many houses you can stick on there and throw some roads in, bring some power and water.
Yeah, no,
sell them with owner financing.
I was like, oh, wow. You make it sound so easy. He's like, it takes a while. He's like, the hardest part is finding the land.
The hardest part's finding the dirt, for sure.
He's like, you gotta find that. And then you can do it. All the other stuff. He's like, the other stuff's easy. It's just finding the right area, plot. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. So that was a win, huh?
That was a W, man. That was a good W.
It was good that you were local here, too.
Yeah,
because actually,
there's something to be said for being local. If you're in your area, would
you consider Mascot your area? So if you guys don't, Mascot, if you're in Orlando, from where we're at right now, right in the center of the city, we're talking
45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah. So you're out and you're going out towards,
heading towards Tampa, Brooksville. Yeah. So you're going west across the state from Florida.
Yeah.
And so would I consider that my area? Yeah, I would consider anything here in central Florida-ish, like Orlando, like areas that I know. Basically, I'm a real estate broker. So anywhere that my MLS reaches and touches, that I can go and pull comps and get a real granular idea, and it's within an hour's drive, I'd say that's within my area because I know all those areas.
How far does the brokers reach? Because you can't do stuff in like Miami or you can't do stuff.
No, there's different board of realtor boards or MLS boards or.
Okay.
I could go sign up and become a member of that board, but I don't really use the real estate license too much unless it's helping friends, family get houses, or obviously for work. I use it for this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good. That was a good case study. Yeah. Where were we at in time?
About 17 minutes.
17. The shorter one, but
that's good. It's not quite as snackable, but not quite a long one.
But it was good. What's the takeaways? What can people learn from that?
Takeaways is start with servicing notes. So always read the servicing notes. So that way you get it. Huh? Yeah, know the story, read the tea leaves, try to put it together and understand. If you put it together and understand the backstory and what's going on, it helps you put your forward-facing story. Like it helps you make your plan, your route. If I'm going to go this route, this is the best route, the easiest route, which in this case was the deed in lieu. But for that to happen, I got to have this domino and this domino fall, which is them signing the deed in lieu,
settling with the second, and then making sure no other liens popped up or anything like that. So it could happen, but probably not likely. And I'm not getting into a 6-month pissing contest on negotiations with this company. I'm going to give them a little bit of time. If they don't want to do it, fine, I'll just foreclose. Yeah.
So that leaves you with this option. So by looking at the past, you can see, okay, here are the options. They want to sign the house over. That'd be great. If not, at least I can get a consent judgment and move forward at this route. And then if for some reason they didn't want to sign a consent judgment, the house is vacant, I'll just do regular foreclosure, which would slow it down just a little bit.
Consent judgment, that just means that you just sped up the foreclosure process?
Essentially.
What do you mean by essentially?
Essentially, you're bypassing having to prove your case.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because they sign it.
Because they sign it and say, yeah, it's all true. What they said is true. I owe them this money. I didn't pay. This is how much I owe them. And what we'll do is we'll say, look, in exchange for consent judgments or deed in lieu or anything like that, we always offer, look, we'll waive our right to seek deficiency judgments or anything like that.
So it's not a win for them, but it's an out.
Yeah, it's not a loss.
Gotcha. But it still goes on the record as a foreclosure.
Yes.
Okay. On the deed in lieu, which would not.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I guess we'll see you next time. Hope you guys took something away and learned a couple of things from Rick and his multiple battle wounds and stuff like that. So
that's a good way to look at it. Battle wounds. They're battle scars for sure.
So if you want to hear more case studies like this, be sure to like it and maybe give us some ideas and what you'd like him to cover. I'm just here for asking questions.
Yeah, maybe we'll do one on hardest hits fund would be a good one to talk about, but it's not relevant now because the hardest hit fund's not really here. But that was basically the hardest hit fund was a government program that was meant to give money to the states to keep people in their houses, to catch them back up. And so they gave money to the states. You applied to the state if you were behind on your mortgage. If they approved you, they gave the money to your lender. to keep you in the house. And there's a bunch of different avenues. So
we got to hear some of those.
Those are
good. You
good.
got some goodies. So
those are some good ones. Those right now, the hardest hit fund's not necessarily operating because times are pretty good. But in the event that there is a downturn, it was a tried and true thing that worked before. Their implementation sucked a little bit, but at least the state said it was really, as any government thing is, a lot of paperwork, a lot of shit that gets lost. But if it comes back, it's a good thing to know about. So we will touch on those. And just, I don't know what's going on. Some of the biggest, one of the real big guys who used to work for one of the big banks, I won't say which one, has reached out to an agent I have under me who was a huge REO agent in the area. And they asked if he is still in the game and wants to make sure and re-sign any sort of referral agreements because this large bank has reached out to them and said, we need to get our ducks in a row for next year.
Oh, the foreshadowing on that.
Oh, the foreshadowing on that is thick.
Jeez.
But you read into it what you want. For me, we said it before, stuff's going to mount up and somebody's got to pay the piper. And this is a big bank. So I don't know. That means that there could be an onslaught. We'll see. So anyways, looking forward to talking to you guys next. Have a good one.
See ya.